This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. A family of 6 is homeless after a fire destroyed their Carrick house. The father of 2 describing the terrifying moment he, his children and their pets escaped the blaze.
A family home now gutted. This is where firefighters say the blaze started just after 2 o'clock this afternoon.
A neighbour did hear an explosion and then saw the flames, so at the moment we can predict there was a gas explosion, yes.
Father of 2, Bradley Hayward, was forced to flee the flames with his children and pets.
Just come outside, seen the black smoke come across the door, ran in, grabbed the dogs, kids, ran upstairs, tried to go inside there, it's just black smoke, couldn't see anything.
He then called his parents-in-law, who he shares the house with. Both rushed home from work to scenes of billowing smoke.
Feeling pretty gutted, actually. It's not the sort of thing you'd like to happen before Christmas, but, there's nothing really you can say. Yeah.
Just weeks out before Christmas, the family of 6 now have nowhere to go. They're still coming to terms with potentially losing everything.
I'm pretty upset. All my kids' stuff's in there, so yeah.
We've got antiques in there and and a lot of original paintings and what have you, and I just hope that, but you don't know. You just don't know. Yeah, could be all gone. A lot of family heirlooms and that which I'd hate to lose.
Firefighters say the house was well alight when they arrived and crews are expected to remain on scene this evening. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
Police are tonight searching for a man who held up a Tasmanian hotel at Knifepoint. It's believed the man snuck into the pub demanding money from an employee before he fled through the hotel's back door.
A usually quiet town rocked by an overnight armed robbery. Police say a knife-wielding man held up Latrobe's Lucas Hotel around 20 to 10 last night.
At this stage we're still yet to ascertain the exact size of the knife, but it's believed to be about 20 centimetres in length.
It's understood the man confronted a female employee in the hotel's hallway, demanding money before fleeing with an undisclosed amount in a Coles bag through the back door. The incident occurred just after the hotel had closed. Initial investigation suggesting the man may have been in the hotel prior.
He's a Caucasian male, about 6 feet tall, a stocky build, and he's dressed in all black clothing.
Staff say the female employee was shaken but is now doing okay. She didn't receive any physical injuries. Today, the hotel was back open again as normal. Many nearby residents say they frequently visit the venue and that last night's incident was out of the ordinary.
It's strange. I mean, we don't very often get anything happening in this town. It's quiet.
Latrobe is a very quiet town. It's an elderly town. And I get a lot of school kids who come into the shops, so having kids around and something like that happen not too far from my business, it does make it a little bit nervous.
Anyone who saw a male acting suspiciously in the area between 9 and 10 o'clock is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Monica Dadson, Southern Cross News.
The fate of the Taswater takeover could be decided tonight as the key government bill is debated in the upper house. A spotlight is on the government's legislative agenda this week, with just days left before Parliament rises for the year.
Digging deep as the end of the Parliament session draws closer, the Premier cementing a commitment to his legislative agenda as key bills are debated in the upper house, phasing out suspended sentences for serious crimes, a 2014 election commitment, recent changes to the bill hoping to see it pass.
We believe in what we've put forward. We recognise the fact that it needs to pass through our Parliament, so we are engaging constructively with independent members.
Opposition parties say it's a legislative agenda on a knife's edge.
They've just brought forward populist legislation. They haven't been able to make the case for change in the community. Taswater's a classic example.
It does appear that the government's legislative agenda is in tatters. We know that this is a government that doesn't do the work before they present the legislation. They've been caught out time and time again.
The suspended sentences bill passing late this afternoon heavily amended. Alternative options such as home detention to be independently reviewed within 2 years. Taswater is expected to be debated late tonight. If the bill fails, it's likely to be a major sticking point between the two major parties.
Our commitment, though, would remain to take these commitments, these policies to the next election. We believe in them. We believe that they are in the best interests of our state.
The lower house returns for its last sitting days next week. Legislation allowing the Treasurer to call in major projects from council was to be tabled. It's since been withdrawn.
We're a government that listens. We want to get it right. We're not going to rush legislation in just because the parliamentary session's coming to an end.
It was unpopular and highly controversial legislation, and I believe the decision to pull it is highly political. It's the Liberals running scared.
Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
The Premier is vowing to carry out the recommendations made in a scathing audit into the public service. The investigation questioned the appointment of 3 senior executives following conflict of interests not being reported during recruiting. It's the second audit in as many years to highlight evidence of nepotism.
All recommendations will be implemented, adopted. There's no question about that. It should happen. Things have been done in recent years to improve processes, but clearly not good enough.
There's a culture of dishonesty and secrecy that's come from the top, a culture of not taking seriously accountability and the Parliament, and we believe that culture has affected the public service.
The Auditor-General is considering referring the 3 positions to the Integrity Commission. Glenorchy will go to the polls early next year after legislation to dismiss the council was officially signed off. The local government minister is looking over a Board of Inquiry report into dysfunction at the council. It's expected to be released before the election.
Now, after a long period of time in a saga that's gone on for over 2 years, the people of Glenorchy now have the opportunity and the responsibility to elect a new council for themselves to guide the city into the future.
The dismissed mayor and 2 aldermen will recontest their positions. Votes will be cast through a postal ballot. Forestier Peninsula representatives are fuming following a meeting over flight path changes in the area. Air Services Australia say the path over residential areas was changed in the interest of safety. But locals claim the company is not listening to their concerns.
Local residents taking their case to the top, sending a petition with over 300 signatures to the Federal Infrastructure Minister.
That is our hope, that he will realise the poor conduct of the department on this matter.
Since September, up to 30 flights a day at all hours started travelling directly over Madonna, Booma Bay and surrounding towns. Locals concerned planned tourism developments will be cancelled.
Local employment is on the cards. This flies in the face of community development and economic growth and development in this region, one of the most sought after tourism areas in the state.
This morning's consultation, organised by Air Services, didn't allay fears.
It is top down, it is dictatorial, it is not in any way garnering feedback from the ground, and the feedback that has been given to them has been disregarded.
I don't agree with that. We've gone out there to hear their concerns in the community. They're a tight-knit community. I really appreciated the feedback that they've provided.
The company has previously apologised for the lack of local consultation before the changes, but claims there is no way it can return to the previous flight path.
They refused that. They said there's a navigation beacon had been removed and would have to be reprogrammed. I mean, that's just absurd if that's the reason.
Safety is our most important consideration. It's difficult with flight paths. They are complex to make sure that everybody is going to be happy with the outcome, but we seek to minimise the impacts on the community as much as we can.
Air Services today confirming the path will be changed to 4 kilometres west, but areas such as Dunalley and Madonna will still be affected.
Our campaign is called Just Plain Wrong. And I think that's what everybody feels about this.
A full report of reviewed community feedback will be available by the end of the week. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Construction is underway in Clarendon Vale with 14 new social housing properties to soon come online. The homes will be integrated with market housing to create a more inclusive neighbourhood.
The housing will be tenure blind. You won't be able to tell the difference in terms of the look or quality of the social housing compared to the market housing, and it's important that we achieve that integrated community.
It's a true collaboration between government and the non-government sector to provide land, to have the house built by a great Tasmanian company, and with Mission Australia as our contracting partner to provide more affordable housing and, importantly, social housing for vulnerable Tasmanians.
The market housing offer has already seen 12 house and land packages sold for private ownership. A second release will include 4 new homes. After years in the planning stages, a $9 million makeover of Launceston's North Bank is officially underway. The first sod turned today as the site is set to be transformed into a giant playground and recreational area.
Shovel ready. Luckily, this trio will be leaving it to the professionals, but today it didn't stop them from officially beginning the North Bank construction.
This is a very exciting and very important stage for the Launceston City.
The once industrial precinct is being transformed. It will soon be home to an all-abilities playground, recreational areas and car parking. The area to link with Seaport via a footbridge that's currently being built.
The federal government's contributing $6 million to the almost or over $9 million total cost of the project. The focus of the city has shifted to the water, and what we're looking here on the North Bank is completing that job and taking an absolutely prime part of Launceston's real estate and giving it to the people.
Boral is still operating its concrete plant from the site, but is in the process of moving around 400 metres down the river. The Mayor says the company should be relocated by early next year, although some infrastructure may stay.
We're still having discussions on some of the buildings there, and maybe that can be used as a rowing precinct or something for the community, so those discussions are ongoing.
The development also tying in with the Silo Hotel build, the CH Smith site makeover and the relocation of UTAS.
This is a fantastic collaboration between the 3 levels of government. The federal government, state government and local government working together to provide what will be a fantastic outcome for the people of Launceston.
It's hoped North Bank will be completed by June next year. Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
The future of Katie's, Miller's and Rivers stores across the state remains uncertain after the parent company, Specialty Fashion Group, announced it's closing 300 stores nationally. The company says stores will be progressively closed over the next 3 years. Which ones go will depend on how they are doing financially. It's already been announced Katie's in Launceston is closing due to the redevelopment of the former Birchall site. Tasmania's teenage parents will soon have access to better support services as part of a new trial by the Brave Foundation. The federal government backing the project to provide young families with pathways to work and education.
A lifetime of work coming to fruition. The Brave Foundation will soon work with the federal government to initiate a mentoring program supporting young parents across the nation.
So not only are we going to see these teenage parents with the outcomes they deserve and their children, but we'll also see a decrease in generational teenage pregnancy.
The founder says the initiative will provide support for young parents and broaden work and education pathways.
If it wasn't for the Brave Village and it wasn't for my parents and my network of support, I really couldn't have done it without them.
The program was developed from a working group that spent 2 years gathering insight on the issue.
I think we'll have a compelling argument to see this grow with participation and hopefully commitment from both federal and state governments.
In Australia, there are over 4,000 teenagers expecting or parenting children. 79% of those receive long-term welfare.
Not only is there the economic benefit of being able to invest into a reduction in welfare, which is really exciting, social benefit as well, so they can meet those dreams and aspirations that they've always had.
The initiative will be rolled out at 5 sites across Australia from early next year. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Spectacular drone footage has captured a large southern right whale just metres off Kingston Beach. It's believed the animal was resting before continuing to migrate south to Antarctica. The sighting is unusual, with the species typically spotted around October. Parks and Wildlife are encouraging a 100-metre buffer zone for those wanting to observe the animal from the water. Now a look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed higher as stronger commodity prices boosted energy and mining stocks. The ASX 200 index has risen by 22.9 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 75.65 US cents and 110.79 New Zealand cents.
The Hobart Hurricanes have found a replacement for Englishman Tom Curran for the upcoming Big Bash season. All-rounder Jofra Archer from Barbados will replace Curran, who has been called up to England's Ashes squad. Archer has hit more than 800 runs across 20 first-class games for Sussex in the UK. The Hurricanes have only one spot left to fill on their playing list. It's a nervous wait for Tasmania's top draft hopeful. Hugh Dixon is tipped to receive an AFL call-up on Friday, but the rising star says he only started taking the idea seriously at the start of this year. Hugh Dixon says he likes to stay out of the spotlight, but that isn't easy when you're the state's likely saviour in the draft on the back of a breakout year.
It'd be unbelievable. Unbelievable. Words can't describe what it'd mean to me.
The key forward booted 15 goals from 8 games with the Tigers in the TSL. He also balanced duties with the Tassie Mariners and the Allies under-18s. His invitation to the AFL Draft Combine was meant to be the cherry on top, but a back injury restricted what he could do.
It was extremely frustrating because I've been working really hard for the Combine, but oh look mate, it's just footy and it's just part of it.
Remarkably, the 18-year-old says he only decided to have a red-hot go at an AFL call-up before this year's season began.
A few coaches sat down with me and they said, look mate, you've got a lot of potential and I knew within myself that I could do it. And I thought, I'm really going to dig in here and have a proper crack at it.
Fuelling the fire in the belly is the fact no Tasmanians made the cut last year. The 18-year-old will watch the draft on Friday at home with fingers crossed. In the TSL, Lauderdale has a new development coach. He's only 22, but Will Perry brings a standout track record in the SFL after turning Hobart's under-18 side from winless walkover to premiership champion in a single season.
Hobart was a really good spot to start, but yeah, being at Lauderdale, if I think that I'm a reasonable coach, you want to do it in the best competition, and in Tasmania that's the TSL.
And in the NTFA, the collapse of the Prospect Hawks senior side will not affect funding for AFL standard lighting at Prospect Park, according to the state government. The funding is tied to Prospect's separate junior football club, which will remain in the competition next season.
We're investing in our sporting infrastructure as best we can. There are a lot of clubs that are growing.
Prospect says no decision has been made on the club's future beyond 2018. NPL referees will be trained up by a new specialist coach. Tony Peart is tasked with lifting the standard of referees across the state. The 33-year-old has spent the past few seasons in England's Championship League, which is a tier below the EPL.
The number one is to improve sort of the retention levels within refereeing, recruit more numbers, then start to improve that level of standard.
I feel like as an organisation we haven't taken care of the referees in the way that we should have, and it's something that we wanted to address, and this has given us the opportunity.
Peart will consult with all NPL clubs to work out where improvements can be made. And finally, the Wheels Classic charity ride has finished in Hobart today after cyclists travelled 700 kilometres in 7 days. The ride raised more than $100,000 for the Future 2 Foundation.
Is a great example down in Tasmania that has benefited from a 3-year grant from the Future 2 Foundation, where they've received $10,000.
19 riders took part in the challenge, which featured nearly 7,000 metres of climbing.
Good evening. The spate of warm weather continued. Hobart 31 today, Launceston 27, Burnie and Devonport a bit cooler, 21 the official temperature from the Bureau. Campania warmed up to 33 degrees, while Strawn, Ouse and Grove all landed on 32. Warra and Tunnock 29, Cressy 27, Fingal 26, Lyawini and Flinders Island 24 today, Friendly Beaches 23, St Helens 22, King Island and Wynyard 21. Now the large picture shows a bright band of cloud extending along the bight towards the Southern Ocean and over our west. We also have convective cloud through most of the north and east of Australia, a thunderstorm or two over central South Australia. Our region mostly clear today, just a little cover over the west and a little high cloud over the northeast. Tomorrow, the high over the Tasman tracks a bit further east. A low near Adelaide connects to a trough running through central parts. The next high pushes over Western Australia. North to north-easterly winds over the east coast at 15 to 25 knots. More easterly over Bass Strait. Light and variable winds for the west, south and the inland lakes. 31 for Hobart again tomorrow, the chance of an afternoon shower. 28 for Cygnet, bit of cloud over New Norfolk, an afternoon shower moving through, and 31 degrees. Partly cloudy for Launceston, 28 the top, 22 for Devonport, an afternoon shower forecast for Campbelltown and 29 degrees. Burnie partly cloudy and 22. Strawn another hot day, mostly sunny too, and 31 degrees and 22 the top for Smithton. And for St Helens partly cloudy, 22, 25 for Swansea and Fingal. UV very high for all centres. On Friday, a few showers developing in the afternoon, mainly inland, a possible thunderstorm, 32 expected in Launceston, 25 in Hobart. Another hot day in the north on Saturday and humid with a late shower or two. And on Sunday, showers over the north extending statewide during the morning. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, showers and a possible storm for Adelaide and Melbourne. The chance of a few showers for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. A storm in the air over Darwin and Alice Springs. And a glorious evening, 24 in Hobart at the moment, 23 right now in Launceston, and Devonport it's currently 19 degrees. Jo, another good day in the garden for you tomorrow.
It will be. I'm loving the garden at the moment. Thank you very much for that, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Thanks for your company. We'll see you a little bit later. Bye-bye.